It's coming, it's almost done, it's ready, and I want something good, something sweet, something cool, it's a treat. Amelia love, Amelia love, Amelia love, it's Amelia love.
Welcome to Amelia's Kitchen, and I'm your host, Joshua Kennedy. Amelia's Kitchen is a show that I created, and this is our very first webisode. I had the option to film these webisodes in other kitchens. I even had the option to film this webisode and future webisodes in a very well-known celebrity's kitchen as well, much larger than this one. But there's something about Miss Amelia's Kitchen that really touches my soul, and I felt that this was the best place to film these webisodes for this show. Now, over these webisodes, we will do some Deep South cooking, we will do some Mediterranean cuisine, we will do some Asian themed dishes as well. We will try to touch on all the dishes throughout the world and certain regions, and the list goes on and on. For today though, we will do a southern dish. This dish is what I call Imitation Deep South Cornbread. I spoke with my mother about 2 days ago, and she asked what I was cooking for the first webisode, and I told her, and she's like, what is Imitation Deep South Cornbread? I've never heard of that before. And I told her, I said, any cornbread that isn't made from ballards isn't really Deep South cornbread, is how I look at it, which ballards, you can't even really find it in grocery stores anymore. Today, for these ingredients that we're going to use for our Imitation Deep South Cornbread, those ingredients will be Jiffy, which you will need 3 boxes of the Jiffy. You'll need a can of cream corn, you'll need 3 eggs, a cup of milk, and 2/3 cup of brown sugar, and also 2 tablespoons of butter, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Once you combine all of that together, you're going to get that rich taste of Deep South cornbread. But since it's not ballards, it's going to be Imitation Deep South cornbread. That's how I'm looking at it. We've already taken the Jiffy and put it in our bowl. So next, all we want to do is add our 3 eggs in there. Do that. And then also, forgive me, what we want to do is have our oven set at 400. And you want to do this actually before you pour anything into bowls or what have you, because you want to make sure your oven is warming up. And also what you want to do is you would need to take out that first tablespoon of butter, and you can use your spoon to put that in there into the pan. The reason we're doing this is because we want the butter to melt in the pan. It's going to give it a better flavor, is what it will do. So with that, always make sure you do that first. So we'll stick that in the stove. Have that in there. And that is a done deal for that. So while we're preparing this cornbread, the butter will be in the process of melting. So now we have the 3 eggs and the cornbread mix, the Jiffy cornbread mix. What we can do next is add our milk, which once again is 1 cup of milk. After that's added, you can add the 2/3 cup of brown sugar in there. Now, the next thing to add would be the can of cream corn. Now, there's 2 reasons that you add cream corn to the cornbread for that. And with this ingredient here, this is what you need to give it moisture. That's what the cream corn does. It gives it moisture. Also, it gives it a better flavor. Now, when you get your can of corn, do not get regular corn, because regular corn will not give it the same taste. It has to be cream corn to add moisture to the cornbread and give it a really, really good taste with better flavor. is what it does. So make sure, once again, you get the cream corn. Okay. And what we do is we'll just take this and pour that right in there. And we'll mix it up a little bit, is what we'll do. We'll mix it up some. Get everything blending together. You don't have to use an electronic mixer for this particular recipe. And actually, I wouldn't even recommend it either, because you really need to do what I call manual stirring, is what you need to do. What I'm doing now is I'm adding that teaspoon of vanilla. Is what I'm doing. I'm adding that teaspoon of vanilla. Now, one thing about this, some people are probably thinking, oh my God, that's going to come out sweet. But believe it or not, it's not going to be as sweet as you would think it would be. It'll have a sweet taste to it because of the brown sugar and the vanilla, but it's nowhere near as sweet as one would think it would be. So what we're doing is just making sure that we're getting it mixed up really, really good. And one thing that I do is I spin the bowl as I mix. You can turn it counterclockwise if you want, or clockwise, whatever works best for you. And in the midst of turning it, you can go ahead and scrape. Make sure you're getting everything. And we want to make sure that we stir this really, really good, because we want everything to mix together. All right. And let me check the oven here. Looks like the butter is definitely melting. Go ahead and swirl this around a little bit. Okay, now this is what we're looking to do here. With this butter, what we want, and as we zoom in on this, what we want is for this, just shake it around a little bit. Just shake it around a little bit. And make sure that the butter coats the entire pan. The entire bottom part of the pan. You want the butter to coat it, because you want the flavor to go through all of the cornbread at the bottom. And then after we've done that, what we'll do is we will take the cornbread and pour it in there. I think it's safe to say we got most of that out. Okay, so now we'll place the cornbread in the stove for 20 minutes. You can do it a little bit longer than 20 minutes, give or take. Usually Jiffy cornbread cooks within about 15 minutes or so. But for this, because it has so much moisture in it, it takes a little bit longer to cook. So you want to cook it at least 20 minutes. You might even keep it in there 23, 25 minutes, but I'd say 20 should be good enough to do it. And then when we come back, we'll see the cornbread, we'll cut it up, and then we'll do exactly what we need to do.